Why the porcupine can't throw his quills. Ing a poots. The porcupine sat for a long time brooding over his troubles. He felt that he was a great fellow, but the living things did not seem to know that. They snubbed him and neglected him, and no one ever came to ask him how to do this or when to do that. They were not purposely unfriendly, but for some reason he did not count for anything in their plans. So he sat for a long time, brooding over his troubles. It was not because Inga Poots was a coward that he did not like to meet other animals, but the slights he had received had made him shy and a bit timid. He preferred now to be alone, so he spent most of his days out in secluded places where he could sleep without being often disturbed by inquisitive neighbors. If he wanted to go anywhere, he did all his traveling at night. He was a peaceful fellow, always avoiding trouble because he could not run fast if it overtook him, and because he had very little to fight with if fight he must. Because he had no strong claws or sharp fangs, he thought it wise to be discreet rather than brave. The fact is that poor old Ingapoots had only one trick that ever served to protect him. He could stretch up on his legs to twice his height, and when he ruffled his long gray hair, he looked as big and strong as a young bear. When he did that, the timid ones fled because they did not know how big he might make himself. Ingapoots thought if only he had strong claws he could fight as well as a young bear. One day the god Shinab came by and spoke to Ingapoots. Shinab was out hunting, and his quiver filled with good sharp arrows hung on his back. Porcupine saw this and said, "Say, Shinab, why did you make me so helpless? I can't run fast. I have nothing to fight with. I can't even make bad noises to frighten my enemies away." Shinab answered, "You've got nothing to grumble about, Ingapoots. No one has hurt you yet. If you had good claws and fangs to fight with, you would have had trouble and been hurt." The porcupine answered, "No one has hurt me, but nobody respects me. I stay out here alone to keep out of trouble. When I speak, everybody laughs at me. I get my food from the tops of pine trees, so they can't take it away from me." "You are a coward, Ingapoots," said Shinab. "You give me a load of arrows on my back like you have to fight with, and I won't be," retorted the porcupine. Shinab thought that might be true. He went over to Ingapoots and stroked his back from his ears to the end of his tail. Then he told the animal to sit around as he had been doing and see what happened. When Shinab had gone away, Ingapoots felt as sulky and disgruntled as ever, for he could not see that the god had given him anything. He sat morosely alone among the rocks, and he climbed his pine trees just as he had always done. He hated Shinab now, because he thought the god too had made fun of him. But strange feelings began to run up and down his back. The hair, which had been soft and gray, grew stiff and began to turn white. It kept growing thicker and harder. This continued until a time came when he was loaded with shining, needle-pointed spines. These were the arrows Shinab had given him, but the god had sent him no bow to shoot them with. Ingapoots thought about that. Surely Shinab would not give him so many arrows and no way to shoot them. Anyway, he thought they would make him look more fearsome and dangerous than his soft hair had done. One day he learned that when he flipped his tail, the arrows flew out, and when they were gone, others grew into their place. Then he tried to flip his back, and the same thing happened. Now he knew what he had was better than a bow, for he could shoot many arrows at once. So Ingapoots practiced and practiced and practiced. When he swelled up as big as he could make himself, and shook himself as hard as he could, a veritable shower of needles shot out like an explosion in all directions. While Ingapoots was practicing in the forest, Shinab came to him. The god had his war paint on. "Where are you going?" asked Ingapoots. "I am going over that hill to fight the people who live there. They have gone bad. I want you to come and help me," said Shinab. "All right," said the porcupine, "you go today and make those people mad. I will come over in the night. I always travel in the night." Shinab went over and made his camp, and sure enough in the morning Ingapoots was there. Shinab said, "Now you have come, let us go down and fight those bad people." But the porcupine said, "No, not now. While you have been sleeping, I have been traveling. I am tired now, and this is my time to sleep. You go down, Shinab, and make those people mad, and I will fight them tonight." So saying, Ingapoots closed his eyes and went sound asleep. Shinab was cross. He was angry. He said to himself, "This fellow is a coward. I loaded his back with arrows to make him brave, and now when he should fight, he goes to sleep. I will lead those bad fellows up here and then run off and leave him. He will have to fight or get killed." The god went down the mountain with angry strides. Reaching the enemy camp, Shinab told them to come out and fight, for he had come to kill them. When they came swarming out, Shinab began backing away up the mountain he had just come down. He led them to old sleeping Ingapoots and then turned and ran away. When the warriors saw the porcupine, they stopped and stared long at him, for they had never seen such an animal. They threw a buckskin over him and tied him, then carried him back to their camp to show their people what they had captured. When the tribe was all gathered around him, they laughed and made fun of him. They said, "This fellow is crazy. He carries all his arrows on his back, but he brought no bow to shoot them." Now Ingapoots laughed too, for he wanted them to think he was harmless. He said, "Come over here, all you fellows. I forgot my bow. I would like to trade my arrows for a bow. Put all your bows on the ground so I can see which one I will trade for." They put all their bows on the ground, and he walked slowly around and looked at them. Ingapoots then said, "Come over here close, everybody, while we trade. Bring all your women and your children and your old people. Get close together in a ring around me where I walked to look at your bows. I like you people, and I will give every one of you one or two of my arrows. I got too many arrows." Every one of those bad people wanted some of Ingapoots' shining bright quills if they could get them for nothing. The more arrows he gave away, the less he would have to fight with when they got ready to kill him. So they crowded around and stood close together on the circle the porcupine had marked on the ground when he looked at their bows. When everything was ready, just as Ingapoots wanted it, he rose suddenly up to his fullest size and shook himself with all his might. A great shower of quills shot out in all directions. Everyone in that circle got the arrows he promised them, and soon the whole bad tribe was dead at his feet. Now the porcupine knew that he was a great warrior, and everyone from now on must respect him. He would kill everyone that crossed him. He loved to boast and to kill, and he became a terror among the living things. One day Shinab called to see him, and the boastful fellow told the god how great a warrior he had become. He said, "I killed all those bad people that you ran away from. I was not afraid of them, Shinab said. Come over by me, Ingapoots, and let me rub your back again. The porcupine came quickly, for he thought the god would give him some other great favor. He said boldly, This time give me long, sharp claws also, and tearing fangs and legs that can run very fast. Then I can kill in many ways. Shinab stroked the porcupine's back, and when it was done, he said, Ingapoots, you are a great fool. Because I let you kill the bad people, you want to kill everybody. Your arrows now are fast to your back, and you can never throw them again. I will leave them on your back to punish those who strike you or try to hurt you, and if you are attacked, you can slap with your strong tail. This much you can keep for your protection, but you can never go out to pick fights anymore. So, Ingapoots is no longer a great warrior. He has no weapons of attack, but all the living things have learned to respect his defense, and they leave him quite alone. He knows they would kill him if they could, so he has gone back to his old habits. He hides out among the rocks and brush and steals a little sleep each day. He moves about the country in the night, and he climbs up into his pine trees to gather and eat most of his food. The end. I hope you liked that. I enjoyed reading it for you. Goodbye.